it's Guido coming at you with a replay review for Tito Loron. Tito Loron from Clan Cog. The Cog. The main Cog. Malinovka, my friends. We're on Malinovka. We spawned into the south, and Tito sent me this replay and said, hey, how could I have done better? Do you have any advice? Etc., etc. And he is in the Polak, a tank that I quite liked. For some reason, I don't know why it worked, but it did. It's on the Yo side of things, but it doesn't have the track mechanic. So it's kind of a basic M6 idea. It is a tech tree tank, but it doesn't have the track mechanic, and it's sitting at tier 6. Good news for Tito is he is top tier, facing another Polak on the other side, a T1 Heavy, and some other various assorted tier 4s, which we should be able to just absolutely bully. Right off the bat, a M10 RBFM dies a horrible death. And Tito's kind of looking back here. All right, man. So let's talk about initial positioning right here. I like where you're going. We'll see what happens with it in just a moment. You don't have a whole lot of help. You have a Fury. You have a Furry coming up behind you. And your guys are doing the standard camping thing, which you see down at mid to low tiers quite a bit. Down at the cap. Hell, you see it at tier 10 sometimes, if not a lot of times. Couple of various guys hanging out like the Hetzer in the sniper positions. The ELC BIS is doing the scout thing. So this is not anything you would not expect necessarily on Malinovka. The good news for you is your Lukes and BT7 have raged up the hill and should give you some SA on what's going on up here. So all is well in terms of what we're looking at. We do have an LEF to worry about. You'll have to let me know down in the comments how much you did worry about it. I suspect quite a bit based on what you do, but you'll have to explain to me why you do this in just a moment. I'll talk about it as it happens, and I'll give my assumptions on why it was. So the Lukes gets into a scrum. He lets you know there's a Leopard and a T-28. There's a Panzer III sneaking up below you, and you go, ooh, Panzer III, and you bail out. And I think this is one of those shiny object moments, at least in my estimation. We've turned around, and now we're going to go look if we can get a shot. Ooh, we get a nice shot. Okay, we turn around. Oops, we're stuck on the side of the wall. Panzer 3J's running. Okay, look, here's the thing. That guy isn't doing anything. He's doing nothing for his team. He's actually just got himself killed. The fact that you spotted him, I would have just kept trucking. You've got a lot of snipperinos down there. They're going to murder that dude. It's a terrible position. And unless you were just doing a drive-by and swung your turret right there and shot him, which you weren't ready to do anyway, I'd have kept on heading here. Because why are you going up the hill? You're going up the hill to establish control of the hill. Now, at the same time, you're sort of seeing that they have a lot of forces up here, and they're about to beat up your Lukes and your BT-7. But in terms of what they have, a Leopard, T-28, and Panzer 3J, it's time to bully those boys. You do need to be careful getting up on the ridge here because you will get shot in the side. So I like this. You're investigating those shots. BT-7's doing what he can. We back out a little bit. This tank does not have great gun depression, unfortunately. It's got this little flat pancake turret, which doesn't allow it to get much depression. All right. A T1 Heavy shows up. A wild T1 Heavy has arrived. You're in a good hold down position right here. Yes, there's an LEF, and he probably is going to start paying attention to you here pretty quickly, but you're the big bad. You've got to get up there and start working on that guy. You do have some fellers back here that are moving up. Your LEF is probably going to get into the fray, so it's time to get up there and start absolutely wrecking this T1 Heavy. Nice shot. All right, that's an advantage. Go. You just reduced him to 600. Panzer 3J, who cares? You can shoot him all day long. You got to head up there and start taking this guy out. And then we do this long retrograde. All right, oops, we've met some guys, and now we're out. And in terms of initial positioning and what you're doing, I liked where you went. Everything was fine. You got a little bit locked on to the Panzer 3J, which cost you some time. And now we're sort of trying to snipe hatches and things while backing out. There's the LEF. And your Furry gets up there and starts working on them. I'm telling you what, between you and the Fury, you get up there, you're going to absolutely destroy these guys. Absolutely destroy these guys. But we're backing out, right? We kind of think about it for a second. Oh boy, that LEF is scary, but yours is also scary. Hitting people, and we just back. So the biggest mistake I would say right now is backing out of this fight. You could have got up there and helped the Fury with your LEF, your hold down position, and the Fury and his hold down position. You clear out any of the smaller tanks, then you work over the T1 and the Polak. And I believe it is the Polak that's up there. It's hard to tell the name. No, it's a 3045M. Pollack actually turns out to be down at the cap. So honestly, this was a pretty big mistake right here. And like I said, you'll have to let us know what you're thinking. Maybe you were worried about too many tanks up there. Maybe you were worried about the arty. Maybe it was both. The good news here is you're going to maintain your hit points. The bad news is you're sacrificing your Fury in a good position you could have easily won. Your team's taking some hits. The Pollack on the enemy team shows up. He's now on the map. Maybe you were thinking about him as well, but you can see him down there now. It's hard to tell because the Hellcat, the text for the Hellcat is over top of it, but it is a heavy down there, and that's the only heavy left, really. So, process of elimination, we can tell that that's the Pollack down there. So we hang out in this bush, trying to take sniper shots. Check it out. Your Fury is still alive, doing well. Okay, these guys make a push. I like a little bit better, a little more zoom on those kinds of shots, but you are maintaining SA on what everybody's doing. Fury's getting absolutely ganked. You take a shot. Just for what it's worth, you could have backed out of that, gone dark, made the bushes and trees in front of you dark, and then you could have shot without being seen right there. I think that would have been worth the time to back out about right here. And if we zoom in, we can tell that we're darker, right? So where's this guy? We can get shots on him. So had we been back here, we wouldn't have eaten those shots. They wouldn't even really know we were there. They know we're here, but they would see you start killing people. And then we back all the way out, and we're reloaded. So once you backed out enough, maybe took a couple hits, you're probably dark. I'd have got back in there. Again, look to make the trees opaque and start making some kills on these dudes, because it takes us a long time to get this done. So we get back up. Do a nice job, I believe, with this guy. There we go. Nice kill. Well done. And I'm just to beat that dead horse, to play that broken record. Had you been up there with the Fury, I think you kill all those dudes. This is another nice shot. Boop. Very nice. All right, that's great. Now you've only got two guys up there. 3045 is a dangerous tank, so I'm not saying you need to push up right now. The AMX is up there with the Pollack. We're taking some more peeks. They're not really at this point interested in pushing you because there's only two of them. Here comes the Hetzer to come help you. And they know their Pollack is camping. So really, if we just take a look at this for just a second, the 2640 and the Pollack are over on the other side. You're really only facing the 3485M and the T1, the Hurt T1 Heavy. So we're backing out. Hetzer is starting to move up. I guess you took some time to try to create a platoon, which is fine. I don't really have that bandwidth in my brain while I'm in the middle of these things. All right, we get lit, we back out. I thought you were going to go with the backup of the Hetzer right there. I think it was certainly an option. T1 Heavy's not quite a one-shot. I don't understand what we were requesting. Are you trying to get the Hetzer to push up by himself? I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think it's a great idea either. His best capability for you right now is basically where he is. You push up there and start working on him. If they try to push you, he's got your back. Or he can follow up behind you. You've got the attention of the LEF, so I wouldn't push now. Their Pollack dies. That's a huge advantage. Your Type 58, I think, is AFK, from what I can tell. He's still sitting on the cap. 900 hit points. You've played down a tier 6, which is not good. Let's take a look at him. Is he? Yeah, so he's still where he spawned. So to be this close in the game anyway is pretty good. And honestly, your T78 had a huge game. He really kept you guys in it. Todd sold that. I think he's a forum regular, as I recall the name. So we're going to back out here. We leave the Hetzer to kind of guard the hill. Not a bad idea. Now let's talk about approach right here. T78 is coming back to help you guys. Your Type 59 is a de facto spotter. He'll either let you know someone's over there because he's taking damage, or he'll spot them. Hopefully he spots them while he's taking the damage. But at least if you see him getting shredded, you know somebody's moved up close enough to see him. So sort of a de facto spotter. Keep an eye on what's going on with that guy. For people who are AFK or sitting on the spawn, they're useful for that, at least end game-wise. Approach-wise, I would be going for this little hill right here, because sometimes you can catch them moving around. What I wouldn't do And you're okay right now because you're kind of being careful. It looks like the T78 comes up. What I wouldn't do is what you end up doing, and we'll show it to you here in a minute. Here comes a P2640. He's right there. You get lit because he just poked up there and sees you. We get a bounce, which works. I think your T78 thumped him. Oh, maybe a little bit better aim on that. Again, that's where I'd zoom in just a little bit more on those, but it's all to taste. If you're good at more of the third person shooting like that, then more power to you. And so this is what I'm talking about in terms of just kind of driving out in the open when you know there's a guy there. There's no real cover. I'd have worked in these bushes a little bit to try to get a little closer in the middle here, not by going out where you're in the open. Always pay attention to the lines of approach, the direction you're moving, and all the directions they can possibly see you from. And we're just absolutely getting moldered by these guys. And this is why this position is not great here, Tito. You're really out in the open. Right about where you are here is the only actual covered position, and that is exactly why I would have kept driving and got up into this area. You can sit up in here. If that P26 had come up to that spot while you were up in this little sniper position, you'd have spotted him and he'd have never seen you. Then your snipers could have got shots. This dude's just sitting here. It's pretty funny, taking shots at you. You get a hot hit into him, and then the Arty and the T78. Looks like the T78 got the kill. So, honestly, a bit lucky. The LEF misses you again. You took a lot of hits. You bounced a few. You've bounced 1,000 hit points of damage right here. So, really, to some extent, a little bit lucky in here not being dead already. So, selecting your next position is hugely important. That's, again, I'll beat that dead horse now. I don't like that spot. The one spot where you finally kind of got in the trees is the only place you can do that safely. And I thought you were going to go up on that hill this time, and you made another interesting decision. See, I see that T78 moving forward, and what I see is get up here and then cover him. So if anything tries to poke up and take shots, or maybe they're sitting in this bush and he takes a shot, you're up there ready to slap him. What you do is you kind of drive out in the open again. You're completely exposed to everything that's sitting over there. You may have watched the T78 and said, well, he didn't take a hit. Sometimes people aren't paying attention and miss the first guy, and the second guy that shows up gets hit. So calculated risk maybe on your part. Now that he kind of gets up here, though, that starts to make me feel like there's nothing nearby. So your approach at this point is fine. He's kind of cleared the idea that there's anything there. I would use that bush. It's a small bush, but I would come up over to the right side here, kind of poke up a couple times and see if you get spotted. Maybe drive up a little further and get into it and look around for a second and then push across. So the instinct is good to sort of be careful, kind of bring the turret up and look for spots, but I'd use that bush a little bit better. Kind of hanging out. T78's now got Overwatch. All right. Not great because you don't have a whole lot of hit points, but here we go. You could easily be one-shot by the T3045, and certainly if he hits you and the LEF gets you direct hit, you're probably done. Not a bad move here. Things to think about in this particular position, and right here. I don't like driving right up on this hill right here because now you're completely exposed to anybody who might be chilling out in these bushes here. You can also be seen by anyone who might be down here in these bushes. So I'm going to come in this low spot, and I'm going to move up a little higher in the low spot so that my turret pops up and maybe we see if I get lit. I'm going to back out. You might eat some LEF shots, but at least you don't drive up highlighted on a big ridge right here. I like to get into these bushes, but I want to make sure that someone over here is not going to see me first. So low spot approaches matter. Take a look at the possible directions you can take shots or be spotted. Prove no one is lighting you, and then maybe you can sneak up into these bushes right here. Turns out it didn't matter because they're further back. I don't remember where the 3045 is. We'll have to find out here. We get up in there. Hetzer's moving in. Okay. Oh, that's right. Now I remember where he is. T78 goes raging in. And you follow him. All right. For my money on this one, again, we're talking about paying attention to the move forward on your team. You have two guys with decent hit points willing to move in and figure out if he's back in here. I'd be sitting on this hill. Get on this hill. Get ready. Start looking in this general direction down here. And when one of those guys get lit, take your shot. Right now we're moving, so unfortunately we're not going to get a good shot, and we're down on the low spot. We've taken some low terrain. 3485 killed off the Type 58. Oh, look. So the LEF may be spotted potentially for him. Already goes in and misses. We come up messing around trying to get a shot. Okay, and we get lit. And then we back out. I think maybe you were worried the 3045 was down in that low spot. All these guys go pushing in, and that would be the best guess, but all of a sudden we're kind of figuring out that no, he's not there. I think the T-78 knows because he's moving in that direction and he took a hit. So he's the one who knows, and maybe you know it at this time as well, that the 3045 is over on the other side of the map there. So we jump on cap, then we see that guy, and we're still kind of messing around. And to be honest with you, I don't know why we're not zoomed in trying to get a shot. Maybe you knew he was down low, but you didn't really investigate it. Yes, he is down low, but we're just sort of happy to kind of drive along. There we go. Moving forward and backwards. Look, you got to stop. You got him lit. Just stop. Let the bloom zoom in and wait for him to pop up. The rocking back and forth thing. I know it's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's just a habit pattern that a lot of people have. But in a case like this, moving around is just screwing up your bloom. Also, I wouldn't be here in the middle of the cap. I'd be behind this bush. Also, maybe a little bit lower. I think you may have had some depression issues. I don't know, but I'd have investigated being on the back edge here and seeing if I could get a shot on him. Again, we're moving. Already misses. All right, well, that's a bummer. Your spotter's dead. Not good, because that was a really good gun. It's unfortunate that dude raged in like that, although he did have a great game. Hetzer's moving in. This is the only bush on this cap that you can hide on. So that's good and bad. Good is there's a bush to hide in. Bad, everyone knows that's the only bush to hide in, so they may take a poke into that. Right now, I would not leave myself highlighted. He's got enough hit points to take a hit from you, and he can one-shot you. So I'm out of here. The Hetzer is going to try to get into the bush, which I think is a good idea. I would back out. You don't really want to duel him. If he comes up and gets lucky, you're dead, and if you get lucky, you only do one hit on the guy. So I'm backing out of this thing, getting low right here. There we go. And I'm going to keep going. I'm not even going to stay on cap. Now you're lit again. I'd have backed straight off cap, move around this way, and get up towards this rock and bush area right here, and then try to get a more of a surprise shot on him. Let the Hetzer cap. That's going to eventually draw him in. Right now, you're both kind of hanging out in the same place. What I really hate about this is if he takes a stab at you, he may hit the Hetzer, or the other way around, vice versa. And that's just side armor you're giving the guy right there. And then we go up higher on the terrain. And it is causing him to have to hurry a little bit more. But I really think if you'd have gone around the other side here, use this low ground behind you, to come around over here and maybe to this bush and this rock to give you some hard cover and a little bit of camouflage, you're going to be in a better situation. Because if he has to pop up, he may just eat that heat shot from the Hetzer and you guys can double tap the guy. Right now, because he has so much cover, unfortunately, and he's a medium, really, he's probably going to get in here and get a shot on you. There he is. He's right there. You got to shoot through that stuff. Just shoot. Yeah, you don't have time to wait. I don't know if that stuff eats shots or not. I think you can shoot through it, but you really had to take the shot. The good news on you taking the shot also is you can knock down the cover for the Hetzer. And we end up getting dead. So the Hetzer's sort of sitting there watching him. Guy can't find him. Already misses. We're at 1 minute. Hetzer gets into the bush a little bit better. He actually uses you as cover, which, okay, not a bad plan. Already misses, unfortunate. Hetzer's trying to get a shot in here. Dude's looking to take a shot. They can see you're not happy with what happened. Not bad. Oh, he just totally missed it. The guy actually bounces, or maybe hit the dead tank. The arty thumps him, brings him down into one shot. If the Hetzer's firing at a heat round, which I believe he is, doing a pretty good job hiding right here from him. Guy takes another shot, a bounce. Oh no. He's got 19, 18, and then 30-45M's got to do something. So he's going to use the hard cover of the dead tank there as an approach angle into the Hetzer. Artie misses again. Oh, it's just too bad. No splash on the LEF. Dude comes around, hits or spins, and slaps him for a kill, and he gets the cap and the kill in the last second. Well done. Well, not last second. There's a minute 50 left. Nicely done by the Hetzer right there. Actually, I think the 3045M had some more time. I'd have tried to have been a little bit more clever on that. Just if you're the other guy dealing with somebody in the cap like this, come up in one of these bushes over here and take a couple stabs into that bush. You know that's where the Hetzer is. Once he got hidden behind this thing right here, although I suppose it was the cap that was the problem. I forgot about that. The cap was actually getting down to the last second, so he didn't have a minute 50. All right, there you go, guys. Tito, thanks for sending that in. I hope some of that helped. Really, the initial push up the hill, you probably could have been much more aggressive on that. I realize that people play the game and they get beat up when they try to do stuff like that. There's no support. But in this case, based on what I saw, based on what was showing up, you being top tier in a Pollack, what was going on that hill, I really think you could have mauled them pretty heavily up there between you and the Fury. Two of the tier 6s, right? Two of your tier 6s up there crushing them. The LEF was absolutely supporting you at the time. You had, I think, at least one sniper back there, and would have been a much better idea than sort of hanging back. However, you lasted to the end of the game with what you did. We talked about approaches and being careful on how to get in there. Then we talked about some of the cap management stuff that I would have done right there. But at the end of the day, you ended up with 1,300 damage, 666 assists. So that's, what, nearly 2,000 combined and a win. So nicely done there. Plus, what, some kills? 3 kills along the way. Like I said, I hope some of that helped. If anyone else got more suggestions, go ahead and chuck them down there in the comments. That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.